the Amazing Atheist, and on January 9th, a Freedom Industries storage facility leaked a large quantity of the chemical 4-methylcyclohexane methanol. Luckily, it's got a shorthand abbreviation, which is MCHM. And that leaked into Elk River, which is a tributary of the Kanawha River in West Virginia. As a result, 300,000 people in 9 counties were without drinking water. In fact, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Adrian Wright, who runs a small barbecue joint in the affected area, asked an interesting question about this chemical spill and the near total lack of mainstream media coverage afforded to it. He asked, "Why is the rest of the country fixated on a New Jersey traffic jam while we go without clean water?" Even on this new podcast, The Drunken Peasants, that I'm doing with my friend Ben, we've talked about the Christie thing, the Bridgegate scandal.
But if him and Sean Hannity ever get a show together, that's what they should call it Christie Hannity, and have a cross as their logo.
But we haven't talked about what happened in West Virginia. Why is that? Why is it that a politician abusing his power and inconveniencing a lot of people along the way gets mainstream round-the-clock coverage for at least a week or two, and it's still being covered heavily, but 300,000 Americans drinking water being poisoned by a ruthless corporation who really has no real regard for what they've done and is not really apologetic in any sort of sincere way, that doesn't get any coverage. Why is that? That's a good question, I think, for Adrian Wright to ask. And I'm asking it too, but I'm going to try to answer it as well. The MCHM has made the water stink. It stinks like licorice, and this tainted licorice water has shut down tons of restaurants, which means that people who work in the restaurant industry or who own restaurants are suffering huge losses because of this. Now, if you're just a waiter or a waitress working in a restaurant, you don't have a lot of money. You're living paycheck to paycheck. Most of the people being affected by this are poor, rural people. And that's really the answer to Adrian Wright's question, isn't it? The Christie Bridgegate scandal, that's party politics. That's the evil Republicans versus the good Democrats, or the good Democrats versus the evil Republicans. You know, whatever your narrative may be. You know, that's one big party slighting another big party. This story in West Virginia is just one giant corporation fucking over a bunch of Americans, and that, in America, that's par for the course. That's business as usual. That's what you expect to happen. So of course the news media isn't covering it. Hell, even some of the people in West Virginia who were affected by this take the attitude of like, well, we make so much money off the coal industry that this is just an acceptable risk. I'm sorry, my fellow human beings, but this is not an acceptable risk. The price in this case is too high. We're burning through resources that will not replenish themselves in our lifetimes. Is that our gift to like future generations, an entirely used up planet, and we have to poison ourselves in the fucking process to do it? And no one cares? It's not even a big story? Republicans and Democrats interlocked in a political theater pageant fight. That's big news. Giant corporations butt-fucking the poor of America into dust. That's a big snooze. No one fucking cares. This isn't a big story. This is a story that you read a few articles about here and there and thought to yourself, like, why isn't that a bigger story? And the reason it's not a bigger story is because no one's clicking on that. You say, hey, Christie did some shisty stuff, and people say, oh, that's a future presidential candidate, maybe. Let me see what's going on with that story. But you hear, 300,000 people in West Virginia, they don't have drinking water, and they're gonna starve because their businesses are shut down, and they live paycheck to paycheck. So now they're not sure what they're gonna do, and maybe they're gonna lose their houses, maybe they're gonna lose their cars, maybe they're gonna lose their jobs. Who knows what they're gonna lose? But they're probably gonna lose something. But that's okay. That's acceptable. Why? Because giant corporation did it, and it was just a bunch of poor people that suffered. And we've always, in this country, declared that that's okay. I mean, pretty much since the beginning of this country, the rich and powerful elite have been able to piss down on the poor and the downtrodden. I mean, come on. This country wasn't started by a bunch of poor peasants who rose up and decided to take the king down. It was started by a bunch of rich white dudes who didn't want to pay taxes who decided to take the king down. And whether you're an American or not, I'd like to know. Has a corporation ever fucked you over? If so, give me the details down below in the comment section. YouTube now allows for really long comments. You might as well take advantage of that feature. If you enjoyed my video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to like it. Be sure to share it around. Be sure to check out my social networks and my book, The Douchebag Bible. That's available down below in the description section. There's lots of interesting links down in the description section you should probably check out. I'm the Amazing Atheist. Peace the fuck out.